right, it's a beautiful morning. Thank you for joining us. Apologies for starting quite late. Well, we have a Zoom guest already joined in, but we'll have to take a short break still before we go into the program proper. You're welcome to Women's Corner. It runs through 11 a.m. to 12 noon every Monday through Friday with me. And of course, we'll talk about everything that has to do with women. We'll discuss it right here on the show. You can join us live on Facebook and Twitter at Galaxy Television to watch all of our programs live. And of course, we have a YouTube channel so you can subscribe, like, and of course follow us to be able to follow up with all our trending news. And of course, comedy too is also there. We have several of them you can actually like and subscribe to. While we have our guests join us, let's quickly go for a short break. And right after the short break, we'll come talking about what we have for today. I don't want to reveal the topic yet, and of course the guest yet, but after the short break, I'll reveal the topic and of course our guests for today. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Yes, I said I won't reveal the topic, but what we're having for today is quite, a lot of people look at it as something that is very simple, but no, it's not as simple as you think or as you hear. And what we're discussing today are the things every girl child, every woman, every lady needs to know before any other thing else. While you're growing up your development stage, before you get into the adult stage where you're still a youth, before you get into being an adolescent, you're still very young, then from a teenager, adolescent, being a youth, and of course as an adult too, there are some processes, there are some things you need to know. So we'll be starting off from being a child. What are the things that every girl child need to know? And of course they will know if the parents don't say that or the people surrounding them. So we'll be starting from there down to being an adult, and this will just help you shape yourself as a girl, as a woman, and of course you become the better version of you. You don't know what you become, but of course where you have the right information and the right knowledge, it will groom you and help you to be better. We have Tolulokpe Omobowoje today. She's an entrepreneur. She's the head chef of Fruity and Juicy Catering Outfit. She's also a women empowerment advocate. She's a pharmaceutical microbiologist. She's a convener of Incubate, which is for all women support. Hi, Tolulokpe. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Good morning. Thank
It's
you
good
so
to
much
have you.
for
It's good to
having me
see
here.
you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so yes, I know you're in for all women. So when I talked about this topic, you're like, oh, I'm always ready. So yes, as a child, what are those things you think a child should know first? I know they are still very young. The brain is not like it's small, but they can accumulate so much information at that very tender age. But growing up as a child between the age of, let's say, 1 to 5 or 6, what are the things a child should know at that age as a girl? And what do you think the parents should be doing to the child to enable or help the child know those things and be able to differentiate, what is good and from what is bad?
All right. Thank you very much. I'm so grateful to be here once again. Thank you for having me. It's always a delight to be on Women's Corner because women are doing great things. Thank you so much for also hosting this beautiful platform. Well done. So the home, the family is the first point of contact for any human being, for any human being at all. And so basically what we become, who we are, is a factor of where we came from. I mean our family. So first of, for any healthy child, whether boy or girl, is to come from a healthy family. Parenting is a lot of work. You already said it. If your parents don't teach you, they don't tell you, you wouldn't know. Right? So it starts from the home. And the most important that any child needs, and any child is important for any child, is the parental love. Love is first, topmost on our formative years. Love, we need love. And love shows us many examples. Love teaches us patience, it teaches us discipline, it teaches us what we deserve, what we are expected to have. It teaches us responsibility. It teaches us in our homes, our parents are a perfect example. They show us what love is. They show us what it is to be responsible as our parents. They show us what it is to be a provider, how to care for one another. And the examples we see in our parents also, make a guide for what we look forward to in life. So the first and foremost for any girl child is love, family love, parental love. That's the first love. And because of course they are still very young. I mean the children are very, very interesting. Because I remember myself as a child and I see, sometimes I say some things in conversations with my mom. And she's wondering, how do you know this? And I'm like, it just comes up, these things just come up in my mind. I remember being in that space. I remember experiencing or seeing these things. So children imitate. Children pick up blessings. They pick up inaction. Not even what we say now, but our actions. So the home is very fundamental for any childhood. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much for that response. I love what you said. Where you talked about parental love. That's very important and very key. Now, I just want to ask because a lot of people don't understand what parental love is. Now, are you saying parental love in the aspect of buying them biscuits, sweets, chocolate, or giving them cuddles, hug, telling them I love you, telling them you look pretty, giving them the sweet compliments so they get used to that, the fact that they can actually always hear those beautiful comments. They don't have to wait outside. Like when you grow up and you hear it for the first time and before you know, you're probably pants down because you're hearing it for the first time that you're pretty or, giving money and all of that. So what kind of parental love? I want you to go a little bit into details so people can understand, because some persons will tell you I don't hit my children, I don't shout at them, I give them what they want. They define that one as parental love, but this is the child we're talking about. So what exactly do you think at that age the kind of parental love they should actually show to their girl child, so they don't get mistaken and they don't think whatever they are doing right now is actually the right way to show their parental love to their child?
Alright. So thank you very much. Parental love encompasses a lot. Love is sacrificial. Love is security. Love is protection. Love is provision. Love is reassurance. Love is discipline. So in our homes, basically, when the easiest way or the simplest way to show love to children as young as they are is to be available for them. Taking care of them, meeting their daily needs, being able to provide their material needs, their emotional needs, their physical needs at that tender age. It's not enough to provide, but it's also important for you to be available. So a mother is always available for the child. When your child is when you give birth to your child for 2 years, for mothers who breastfeed up until 2 years, there's a lot of physical touch. There's a lot of physical bonding that goes on to express love in that child's understanding at that age. So it's beyond, it's inclusive of provision, protection, words of affirmation, being present for them, being available, that your child can actually see that mommy is around, daddy is around. When there's a need, I can always make my dad provide, my mother will always provide, will give me the words that I need. If I'm going through a sickness, my mother is there. It's not just the maids or aunties or uncles. That a mother can actually spot your discomfort even before you actually, cry out, mainly for babies. That a mother can see, oh, this child is not comfortable here, this child wants to eat, this child needs this. So loving a child is all encompassing. Whatever it is at that time for that child, that child needs at time. That's how we can show love to our children. And so more often times, the words we speak to our children, they grow up with it. My mother would say, you talk to your child from the womb. So it's not when your child becomes an actual baby in your hand. You speak to them, profess to them. So mothers, we speak to our children from the womb. And so when they come forth, we keep speaking those words. We are showing them how beautiful they are, how blessed they are, speaking into their future. These are one of the ways to, love your child. Ensuring that they have food, they are clothed well, their medicals are, well attended to, and they are safe, protected from wolves and all those foxes outside. And a lot of times these foxes are even in our homes. So that's why I talk about presence. One important way of showing your children love is to be present for them. Don't hand them over to help, to family members. Be present. Know what their body looks like. As they are growing, their body parts are changing, right? Know what is being transformed in them. Know their emotions at times. Meet their needs and be able to cater to those needs at times. That's one very important
Okay.
how you can really be
Okay.
expressive of children between the ages of 1 to 5.
Okay, thank you very much for that one. I love your response. And you already dived into the fact whereby for a girl child, as they grow, their private part, their reproductive system tend to develop, becomes more conspicuous. People can easily see. It becomes, yeah, sometimes. Now, that brings, let me just go to the question. Now, between the age of 17 and 13, I'm talking about this age range now. When do you think is the perfect time to have a sex education with your child? In whatever way you can give the sex education, because I know that a lot of people from the millennia upward, they have this problem with their parents talking about or giving them the sex education. Do you understand? Some of them don't tell them. Some, even when they start seeing their menstrual period, they are shy to even tell their parents. Some people think they are sick, some think they are dying. A lot of different dramas that comes with it. You understand? But I noticed that the times have changed, obviously, so they even know. In fact, if you talk to an 18-year-old girl right now, if you're not careful, she knows so much more than you even know. Do you
No more
understand?
than you
So
know.
yes, now I think that because why that is happening most of the times is because they are learning themselves their own way. So they probably will not learn the proper way. They'll learn in a very fast way that will probably even the whatever value that you're trying to protect your child from having or devaluing herself, she ends up because she learned it herself. She heard from people, she saw it on the screen, on social media, maybe neighbors educated her, and because of that kind of education, she gets to probably find a way, or maybe not find a way, she ends up devaluing herself, which of course we know that now you see some persons in primary school, they already have boyfriend and girlfriend. You see some in secondary school, they already have, they are already doing couple, they're already having the same ring, promise ring, or what they call that. Yeah, so what proper time do you think every parent should start educating that girl child so they can have the right sex education? Because there is the wrong sex education. So when and how do you think is the best way a parent can teach a child without her trying to want to maybe take the wrong side of the education? Because you can teach a child the right thing, and when it comes to exposure or living it, it becomes the wrong part of it. Not the one where they will say when you touch a man you get pregnant, not that one. So but how do you think parents can do this?
Okay. Thank you very much. You see, the family is the first contact of education that we have. I remember when we say 13 to 17. These days, our young girls, I think puberty even earlier than that, right? I remember, just using myself as an example, I remember when I started to see my nieces, we were on meet and break. I didn't know where it was. I kept going to the toilet, kept going to the toilet, and my mom said, "Hey, that's why when I tell you that you eat too much, you need to be careful of what you eat." I didn't understand what was happening, so I just kept going to the toilet. I thought I was wounded at some point. So eventually, when I saw the blood, I screamed and I called on her. She was like, "Oh," so she sat me down, and then she told me how it was. Well, before then, actually, she's been telling me, at some point in your life, you start to menstruate and all of that. But it was just the theoretical preparation of it. But then when it happened, I was able to, understand from what I had been taught. And then she sat me down. She told me, "You're not injured," because I screamed. I said, "Mommy, see what's coming out of it." She said, "You're not injured. This is what we have been talking about." And now it has started. So now you will spend more time taking your bath. You will ensure that your undies are properly washed. And she put me through all of those things that I needed to do. And then she now told me at this point, "God, that you're student message, you're in a very, 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 very tender state of your life. So you have to be careful." And then after informing me on how to care for myself, bodily and my health, she went a step further to tell me where I have attained, the level of life as a woman that I have attained, and the importance of being very careful, keeping off rough play, not playing anyhow with boys, and not allowing boys to touch me anyhow. And so she was explicit and express, no mincing words about, because the honest truth is that the reason why our parents of old used to quote um, teaching us sex education as it is or as it should be was because they had a sense of, oh, I'm trying to protect my child. I don't also want to spoil this child. I don't want her to have a messed up, not a messed up now, but they feel they don't want you to come to a space where you're trying to be, how do I want to put it, to actually practicalize what you imagine. And the best thing to do, I will always advise parents, is when your baby girl is grown and you see that she has come of puberty and she is beginning to grow breast, grow all of those body parts and all, and soon will start menstruating, you need to ask. There is no time that is really too early or too late. But your child knows a right from a wrong. It's speaking audibly, can write legibly, and can comprehend in class. I think it's that time to begin to talk to your child. Of course, they may not understand all those large adult terms, but you can always find time to and express yourself to them clearly in a way they will understand. And it's important to just understand that your child is grown, your child is intelligent. So, on the intelligence level of your child, communicate to them. And how do you know the intelligence level of your child? You need to befriend your child. A lot of parents or mothers miss it the moment they do not befriend their daughter or befriend their son. Because in befriending your son, in befriending your daughter, the first, you are always going to be the topmost on their mind. When they come across anything that seems new, that seems strange, that is confusing, and they don't know what to do about it, you're the first person you're going to talk to. You're the first person that they will come to. So the moment you find that your child has grown, you can communicate correctly with them and they can understand on basic things. They can write well, they can read clearly, they're interacting with other people in their everyday life. It's the time to begin to learn about sex education.
Mhm. Okay, thank you for that response. I actually really agree with what you said, and of course, growing up is not easy. So it's something that every parent needs to put their ears down, and of course, know how best they can communicate to a child. And like you said, a lot of parents tend to always want to be too protective. Let me use overprotective of their children. They don't want them to be corrected. They don't want to hear that okay, what your child did is wrong. They are always, protecting for them. They feel they are protecting their child, but actually always being on the child's side. And that way, they are not actually training that child to be honest to themselves. In fact, they won't even know what a value is, what the society talks about when it comes to value. Anyway, I want to paint a scenario because of our time. I'm supposed to ask more questions, but I don't think I'll be able to. Now, I'm not going to paint a scenario. This one actually happened around my neighborhood. Now, a girl who is, let's say she finished secondary school, she's still in her 16s, maybe going to 18 thereabout, but she's not over 18. Now, she finished secondary school at a very young age. Yeah, she's all well. When I tell you she's all well modeled up, like she has everything, all the contours and everything. She's looking as mature. She's even looking like me. I'm going to say, yeah, the curves and everything. Oh. And there are two things I want to point out. I just want to know if that is protection, if that is discipline, if that is you trying to make her get used to it so that when she's outside there, she doesn't get too, enticed by those kind of lifestyle. Now, the first one is, okay, yes, she had a phone after secondary school, but the phone got bad. So the mom had to give her own phone. So the mom does not have a phone, but gave the daughter, which is yet to get into university, a phone. If she was going to university, that's quite all right. But she's letting go of her own communication, her own phone and everything for the daughter to use. Because the daughter is usually not around, she's always going to this skill acquisition school, learning how to sew and fashion designing. Now, the next one is attires. There are sometimes I will call her, that's the mom, and like, why do you allow her, she has all these curves and everything. Why do you allow her wear some of the certain attires, because myself, I can't even dress like that if I'm not going out with my spouse. I'm just trying to be protective of myself, because if anybody should do anything to me, I will feel like I called for it, because I'm not probably wearing too protective clothing. So now she's always wearing that, and her excuse is, I just want her to be free, so that when she gets to school, she won't feel like, oh, people are wearing this thing, she has to wear it. Then when she gets any compliments, she falls victim, and again she'll be like, no, let me give her my phone. Why? Because she doesn't want to get enticed by men that will say, I will give you a phone, because she already knows that her baby girl is all mature. Now, do you think that is lack of discipline, or do you think that is overprotection, or I don't know, maybe there's something else that is coming to your mind? But what do you think is the right thing to do? I don't know. For me, it's a no-no.
For me, it's also a no-no. What does she? Of course, the mother will base it on the importance of being able to reach her. But how are you able to reach her, or how is she able to also communicate to you when she's not home? She has a phone, you don't have a phone. I think the scope of this world we live in now has really really changed. Because I remember I didn't own a phone until way after secondary school, and it came on the premise of, oh, you have done excellently well. You have made me proud. I think you deserve this. So if that girl had a phone before and it got bad, there is nothing keeping her from being without a phone for the time being until it can be repaired and fixed. This just tells me something. I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm getting it wrong, but this just tells me something. It tells me that the mother probably doesn't have an active work life or business life. She doesn't have something actively going on for her that, if I in a space where she needs to communicate with people, or people need to communicate to her. I don't know. That tells me something.
Yes, you actually
then I don't
have a work life at that point. Yes, she doesn't.
She doesn't have a work life. Oh, all right. So, a lot of mothers these days, we are actively trying to set up our daughters to be desirable, to be wanted. We are trying to brand and market them so that they will be seen for their specific, not for their intellect, not for their values, not for the intelligence, not for the very successful woman that they are growing up. So she's probably just packaging a child for the right person that she's trying to market her to. That is as it comes to addressing. Discipline is very important. Distance dressing. I don't know. I will never understand it. Decency will always override every form of nudity for me. And I think we are also coming to a society where many men, many high value men, will also not look at ladies that are not properly cladded. It's important that you clad yourself. Not so now that she's growing, she's in a very strong formative years, she's coming up with all of those features and all of that. The first thing in the world, the first thing that attracts anyone is how you look physically. So they probably have a reason why they are branding themselves or branding a daughter in that way. Every woman needs to know that decency is important. So I think the mother probably has the wrong notion to what life is about, to what being a girl child or a woman is about. These days, women are powerful. Women are sought after not just for their body, but for their intellect and the value that they bring. And women are bringing so much value. So she needs to orient a child differently. She needs to inculcate habits, virtues in that child differently. There's a way you can overlove your child and overlove them to addiction, to destruction. You're overloving them, you're overprotecting them, you're pumping them, and you're setting them up for so many things ahead. So I don't think she's getting it right. I don't think she's getting it. So I think we should also find another opportunity to, speak to her, try to understand why she's doing what she does, and offer better options for her. Because sometimes we think we know, but we don't know. And so we need the support of other people to actually guide us well.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. They say something. You can't keep flogging a dead horse. As much as I try to talk to her, when someone is always, how would I put it, always defensive, You just know there's this wall you probably cannot break. So you have to come not by talking, maybe by acting, or probably talking to the child herself. Maybe she would get
Yeah.
to listen, because like you said, you didn't even have to go far. You already said no, no. And I know it's a no, no for me. If I can't do it, if I can't find myself doing it, I don't think there's any reason why I would even want to try it. So I don't think I want somebody that young, that's not even lived quarter of her life, of the life she's going to live on earth, and she's already like that. I would definitely want no one to be in support of that. But we can't take any more questions. Thank you so much, Tolulo, for women
Always
supporting
happy.
women.
Yes,
Thank you so
so.
much for joining. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
so
for
much.
joining. It was an
Thank you so
amazing
much.
section, even though we had a very short time. I know we're still supposed to talk about the teenagers, and of course talk about, when you're an adult, when you're a young lady. We're supposed to talk about that one, but hopefully we're gonna have a part two sometime, maybe this month or next month, to continue this topic. Thank you so much for joining us. Amazing one.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. Mwah. All right, that's all we can take from Tolu Lokpe Omubowaje. Amazing one. Like she said, you can love your child, but try not to be overprotective. When you're overprotective, you end up losing that girl, as she goes, because while you're protecting her, when she goes into school, she meets different kind of people. Can you keep protecting her there? No, you have to teach her how to protect herself. At the same time, you protect her, but you have to make her be able to stand on her feet, be independent, and at the same time, it's not everything a girl child wants you give to them, even though they want to cry out blood, which is impossible. I think sometimes you just know, you just have to have control over your girl child, and at the same time teach them to be able to control the appetite of wanting almost everything that they see. I think that's where I'm going to stop for today. But before we go, let's go for tips in handling family stress. This is coming because I know a lot of women don't take care of themselves. They don't go to the spa. I know some people are like, why would I go to a spa when I need to feed? Well, you can have bathing salt. There's what they call exploration. You can do that at home. You can rest well, eat well. You don't need to eat one bowl of eba or amala before you know you're treating yourself well. You can go for vegetables. You can go for fruits. You just have to help yourself handle the stress that comes from family. Always remember that you also have to have self-love for yourself, self-care for yourself, to be able to take care of your family very well, because they say it is only what you have that you give. So if you're stressed, you're only going to exude stress vibe. But anyways, let's go for tips for handling family stress, and of course when I come back, we'll be wrapping up the show. Stay with us.